Now we'll have to go to our 49ers. We'll go to Raj. My man Raj. Raj.
Big Krug, man. It's been a long
Dude, look
time.
at you. You're
How we
blowing up.
Hey, how you no, you're the man. How you Steve Young, bro. That is my all-time favorite. You had Steve Young on the pod. I was like fanboying. I can't believe that was amazing, man. But shout out to you doing big things. Long time no talk, man. How you doing?
Dude, Raj, I'd love to have you on a regular basis, man. I'd love to get your vibe. Tomorrow night, of course, the Niners are going to win. They're going to beat the
Hmm.
Eagles. We're going to do a live stream in the post game, and we'll take some video calls. And if you want to jump in, man, I would absolutely be honored to have. For people who don't know, the great Raj runs one of he runs basically RSF 49ers, right?
Yeah.
And how many followers or subscribers do you have on the IG right now? My kid always says, Dad, give Raj his. He's a made man on the IG. I said,
No.
okay.
Your son's too kind because he's messaged me and he's tried to link us. Yeah, honestly, I know we talked about it earlier, but it just this year was crazy for me. We have to do something on a regular basis because man, you are the man. I hate to pump up my numbers. I'm too humble, but yeah, I have 240K on Instagram just about.
When did
But
you start that, Raj? What year did you start building that?
2013, and then I was doing it because I've always wanted to be in sports media, but I'm a physical therapist by trade, and that's what I
Right.
do. But as the years kind of went by, I've just loved sports media, and when I was younger, I always wanted to do it, but medical side pays the bills more. But now, I got burned out. I was a director at a clinic. I got so burnt out, man. I stopped doing it. I'm only doing this like my physical therapy job per diem and stuff. So I want to focus on this. This is what I want to do. So I've been putting in a lot of work over the last 2 years.
Is it
Really
all you or do you have help?
just me, man. Just one man show.
And so how you put your site is a compilation of incredible Niner stuff. Heck, when I've seen my own stuff on there, I'm always like, wow. But you put out stuff that like we've put out interviews or whatever. But I mean, you find like all kinds of cool stuff. And John Lynch follows you, George Kittle follows you. I mean, there's a lot of Niner big time guys who follow your site, man. That's pretty cool.
I'm just blessed. I work hard after every post. I'm always looking for the next post. Honestly, like that's it. I'm tuned into everybody. I tune into you. I tune into every content creator. I love them all, man. I help people out. Wayne Breezy, like everybody out there. I try to just get a little bit of everybody, and that's it, man. It's a great community. I love this team, and I want to be like you, man. I want to be like
Yeah, it is a great community, though, Raj. You hit on something there. It
yeah.
really is a great community. The 49er community is an awesome community. It's a growing community. There's a lot of content creators. What I love about it is that everybody's creating content about the same team,
Mhm.
but it's basically everybody kind of is in their own lane, kind of doing their own thing, and everybody's kind of rooting for everybody. I mean, I guess there's sometimes people get a little pissy, but for the most part, I get treated so well by the other content creators. Love checking out other stuff. It's all like kind of makes you think, gives you more stuff, more grist for the mill. I just think it's awesome. I love it. I think the fan wins over and over and over again because they're getting a lot of content. We're
Yeah.
trying to bring locker room content, but do you have like a philosophy about what you put out there? What's your, because I mean, there's all kinds of things. There's controversial things, there's football things, there's fan related things, and everything in between. I mean, how do you know where you say, you know what, that's not for me and that is for me?
As the years go by, you kind of have to look at your audience and you look at the numbers, the logistics and everything. And that's it, because sometimes, and one thing you said is everybody has a different view. And that's what it is. You got to look at it from a different view. Like, how are you going to cover? Because we're all talking about the same thing. How are you going to view it that somebody else doesn't? Because you're going to have to like bring people in to look at you and listen to you. So you do have to see it from a different lens. If you're always just controversial, then people are just going to think, okay, you're this controversial guy looking for clicks, which I don't mind it. Sometimes you have to be a little controversial.
Right.
In the off season, I feel like that's when you get that type of content is rumors. There's not a lot to talk about. So you kind of have to engage with them and come up with those rumors. But during the season, I try to stick to the current events, the breaking news, the updates and stuff like that. And then just my thoughts on the day to day. What are the players doing? I try to see the perspective of the players. Obviously, I'm not out there playing. So my take is I'm not going to hate these guys. I'm going to try to give them a positive place to be because I want my community to be a positive place so people could talk, bounce ideas off. And that's what it is. So I'm always looking for the next big story that, relates to the team in terms of being positivity. And again, the updates that we all talk about and just a little bit of everything, honestly. And sometimes, hey, the controversy is good for you, but not too much. I don't want to overindulge because at some point people are gonna be like, all right, this guy's all just about the
clicks. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy who sells out for clicks. Carlos Fernando Hurtado gives us the super sticker for $5. Randy Daytona says the Krug and Raj show sponsored by Sizzler. I'll get the paperwork ready.
Let's go. Sizzler. We cooking? Okay, they said we're cooking.
So give me your vibe on tomorrow, man, because I think here's the thing. One of the things Steve Young did say last night was that, and it's a great point. He said, the 49ers have never played a team this year as good as Philadelphia, but contrarily, the Eagles also haven't played a team as good as the 49ers. Yeah. And so that kind of makes this an incredibly exciting game because you get the feeling that, the old ball coach used to say to me when I was in the Canadian League, it's the way you play the day you play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not about could you beat them 10 times. It's about who plays well tomorrow. And that's all that matters. And I feel really good about the Niners' chances, but how do you feel? And what's your prediction? I mean, do you have a prediction on it? Do you have a vibe or do you make predictions?
Always. Every Friday we do the predictions. I'm superstitious. Like all day, every day, I'm live and people ask me, what's your prediction? If it's Monday, I said, you need to wait till Friday because I'm not making that prediction till Friday. I can't. I got to look at the updates, the injury report. I got to get the vibe of how the players are looking, and then I'll go on Friday. But honestly, I agree with what you said is, you know what? Yes, the Eagles are good, and we haven't played a team like them. But they haven't played a team like us. Nobody's as physical as the Niners. I'm very confident. I was talking to people earlier, and everybody's nervous and they're scared. I'm confident. This team is hungry. They've been to 3 out of the last 4 NFC championships. They've been so close. Like Kyle's like right there at the top of the mountain. He just got to get over the hump like Andy Reid did. This is close. Like, no disrespect to the Eagles. It's a young team. They won it a couple years ago, but it's a whole different team. Sirianni, he's not where Kyle's been, and D'Amico, who wants to prove himself if he wants to be a head coach. This team is in the driver's seat. They don't have as much pressure as the Eagles. Number 1 seed, Jalen Hurts, the superstar, MVP candidate, expected to win. The national media is kind of siding with them. I feel the Niners are loose. They've been in this situation. Debo is hungry. He said it this week. This is my 3rd NFC championship. I don't want this team to win. We're going to do whatever it takes. Trent Williams, we're hungry. The vibe, I feel, is electric. Last year, Trent Williams was hurt, and he still played on a bad ankle, and they almost won that game. They were up 10 points. I feel this year they're just going to be too physical. They're going to have that momentum. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder, a bag of Doritos on their shoulder, actually. Weapons. CMC wasn't there last year. This is his first NFC championship. And for everybody that's doubting on Brock, this is Jalen Hurts' first NFC championship, and he has to play the best defense in the NFC. I got the Niners winning this. Close game, tough game. It's going to be a battle of the trenches. Their O-line's great. Our D-line's good. Nick Bosa, he's due for something. 24-20 Niners.
Yeah. The one area I love the 49ers. Last year, the 49ers were 19th in the NFL in takeaways on defense. This year, they're 2nd. So they take the ball away. And then in the last 12 games, they've only turned the ball over once or 0 times in all 12 games. So the Niners, the last 3 months, they're not turning it over. They are turning you over. And that's what's leading to them winning games.
Yeah.
And I think their equation is going to continue in this game. I think they're going to turn over Philly. And I don't think Philly's going to turn over Brock. Brock has got the mental toughness to know to throw it away.
Yeah.
Throw it into the turf. Take the penalty if you have to. Who cares? Don't throw it up for grabs. Don't take huge chances. I mean, there's times in the game where you have to take chances, but don't take stupid chances. Be smart with the football. But I think right now, the way he's playing and the way he sees it, I would want to settle into the game tomorrow. I'm a little nervous about just settling into the game. Why? Because the home team gets an advantage, it seems like, in the first 5 minutes. But once the game kind of settles in a little bit, then it's a football game. It's like any other football game. But what you can't have is the mistake that costs you points in the first 5 minutes of the game. Can't have that. Absolutely can't have it.
Well, one thing I said today when I was talking, I said, the only team that could beat the San Francisco 49ers is the San Francisco 49ers. When they've lost their games this year, they've shot themselves in the foot, made those turnovers. The Denver game, I don't even want to bring that up, but the pick 8, the safety, like those types of plays were the ones that messed them up. And if the 49ers win this turnover battle, I don't think you could beat them because this defense is so opportunistic. All the interceptions they get, the pressures they get, I think that's the key. And Brock Purdy has done such a good job of protecting the ball, limiting those mistakes. That's something we hadn't seen in a long time. The offense is scoring in the red zone, 33.5 points. And that is something that we need to continue to do. Put touchdowns on the board. You don't want to put field goals out there, but I mean, if you have to, at least score. So you can't let those turnover moments come and not capitalize on them. And I feel like in the past, that's kind of what's been their Achilles, and also stopping the running, the mobile quarterback. And I'm going to ask you about that, but I feel Purdy's going to be, able to get this done. I think at first he might be a little nervous coming in, a little, hyped up, but I think once he calms down, which he's shown all season that he is so poised, he's going to take over. And I think Kyle's going to do a good job of getting him calmed down. And that's the crazy thing is he's played 8 games, 7 starts, and he's been so calm. Last pick in the draft, he's got nothing to lose, honestly.
He's so young, he doesn't even know what he does. He doesn't know he's supposed to be nervous.
Yeah, he doesn't know, and he's not even supposed to be here. So for him, this is all icing on the cake. Nate Sudfeld, I remember when we talked in training camp, I remember you were the guy that told me, look out for Brock Purdy. I remember this talk. We were live on a show, and you said, Brock Purdy's looking good at training camp, Rod. What do you think? And I said, well, they gave Nate Sudfeld $2 million. And here we are. Full circle moment, Larry. Brock Purdy starting at the NFC Championship. It's crazy to me.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It's been an incredible story to cover. I've been in the locker room all year, so I will say this. The 49ers respect the hell out of Philly. They know how good Philly is.
Okay.
But the Niners have a lot of swagger themselves, and they carry a lot of confidence into this game. So that's the vibe I got. It's like quiet confidence. They know Philly's good. They know they're going to have to be on their game. They know it's not going to be about who's sky high. They know it's going to be about who executes the best in these conditions. They're focused. They've got a game plan on special teams, defense, offense, and they're ready to roll. Now, I got to ask you a question here, but let me first read this one chat. We got G-Code Travels Vlog, POV. He said, would Kyle Shanahan call plays when the 49ers played the Packers in 2019? Kyle had Jimmy attempt 6 to 8 passes, lots of sweeps, misdirection, ran Mostert, or keeping it simple or gamble. I would say run the ball. Run the ball. Philly has got the number 1 pass defense, though they struggle against zone. Like teams are completing a high percentage against their zone. So if they play a lot of zone, I think that's advantage Niners. Maybe you throw it against their zone. But otherwise, I think you run the ball against Philly. Play complementary defense, complementary football, I should say. I think the team that wins the time of possession will win the game. So you have to win that time of possession. I think you do it by running the ball. I like the idea of taking some shots with Ray, Debo, Ayuk on shuffle passes and, stuff close to the line of scrimmage, try to get the ball in their hands, scheme it to them instead of throw it to them just to keep it out of the air. But Raj, I got to ask you this because this franchise, and that last year they got into the NFC Championship game and lost. In a lot of people's minds, this season was all about getting back to this game. Yeah. And now they're back here. So some people, this season was about advancing beyond this to the Super Bowl. And there are some people that literally will not be satisfied unless they put that 6th Lombardi in the trophy case. So I'll throw you this question, and this is a tough one. Has this already been a successful season? They found Purdy. They've won a couple playoff games. Do they need to win tomorrow in your mind for this to be a successful season? Do they need to win it all You know, are you that in that category? Some people are in that lane of like, hey man, this team's about championships, and that's the way it is, and don't run from it. And it's only a success if you win a championship.
Yeah, no,
I mean, every team's got a standard coming into the league or coming into the year, or like what will be a success. Like Seattle this year was picked to win 5 games. They made the playoffs and won 9 games. They had a successful year. But if they had been picked to win the Super Bowl and they won 9 games and lost in the first round, it's a failure of a season. Where are the Niners on success and failure for this year?
that's a great question. And to an extent, yeah, okay, we may have had a successful season. To many people, like you said, like the Seahawks, like I'm sure all those fans would love to be where we're at. But we're the San Francisco 49ers, 5-time Super Bowl champions. They got to win a Super Bowl this year. I don't think it's a success if we don't, because they came so close. You saw Debo in tears last year. They paid him money. They have some of the best players at each position. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Kittle. They're not going to be the best at that position forever. They went and got CMC this year. And to me, that was a move that says we are going all in. I get it. They have Brock Purdy, the rookie, Mr. Irrelevant. So that's a great find that they did. And that's a huge success for him. But if they lose this game, they fall short yet again. 3 out of 4 years. What's it going to take? What's it going to take? They found a quarterback that can, play the way Kyle wants. He's got the mobility. He can throw the ball when he needs to. He's now, not making the mistakes. Kyle trusts him. You can see the difference. He talks so great about Purdy. He's so calm in these press conferences now. I feel like he's kind of like Benjamin Button, and he's anti-aged lately. Usually he looks so stressed and everything. But honestly, I do. I want this team to win a Super Bowl because I won't be like pissed, but I'll be heartbroken. I'm not gonna lie. I was at that NFC Championship game last year. They should have won that game. They didn't. So everybody this whole offseason is gearing up. Debo, all these guys, Debo got paid. He didn't get paid to take this team to NFC Championship. Kittle didn't get paid to take this team to the NFC Championship. Fred Warner didn't get paid to take this team to the NFC Championship. They're getting paid to take this team to the Super Bowl. They have that good of a team. They're a number 2 seed. They've won 12 games in a row. But you throw away all that regular season at this point, it doesn't matter. You're 0-0. You have 1 game tomorrow to get to the Super Bowl, and that's all that matters at this point. So, yeah, I think it would be a failure if they don't take it to the Super Bowl. There is some successes. There has been some big wins this year, but Kyle Shanahan, I've been in his mind too, because his goal when him and Lynch came, they said it. Their goal is to bring this team to Lombardi and cultivate a great dynasty and this great franchise, and they've done it. They've done really good with bringing these young players up, their talent scout, their development. They've had great coaches that have gone on to have success around the league. But the one thing they haven't done is win a Super Bowl. And I think this team is so hungry that they have to bring a Super Bowl home this year. Because if they don't this year, with how good this team has been, what's it going to take? So.
Oh, I hear you. Hey, do you travel? Would you go to Philly or how do you go? Do you travel on the road with the Niners or
to go so bad? I went last year to LA to the NFC Championship game. I went to Dallas. I travel when I can. I couldn't make it this week.
are you going to Arizona if they win this game?
If they go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to Arizona. There's no way in my mind I'm missing a Super Bowl this year. If they're going to Arizona, I am going to Arizona too.
We are going to Arizona if the Niners win the Super Bowl. So we will definitely hook up in Arizona and live stream and we're going to do an Airbnb. We may even have a party in the backyard.
I'm there.
We'll connect in Arizona after this win. Raj, we'll let you go, man. For everybody, first of all, Raj is a bigger star than me. He's got thousands and thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram. But Raj, let's do something, man. Let's do something starting, in this off season, or we'll start it next week in the Super Bowl, and then we'll continue it into the off season. Let's do a regular weekly hit on the Krug Show and on your channel. And man, I'd love to do regular stuff with you, man. I really respect what you built, and would love to collab with you and do stuff in the off season and talk a lot of Niner ball this off season.
Hey, likewise, I appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words, but you're the legend again. Hey, tell Steve Young about me. Tell him the Niner faithful. Tell Steve Young. I'm going to not even lie to you, because I saw that. I was like, oh my God, Kruger got Steve. When I was a kid, Steve Young was my favorite player. Like, everybody loved Jerry Rice. And Steve Young was my guy. I remember my dad was the big Joe Montana fan. And I said, Steve's going to bring us to Lombardi. I said, Steve, when they won that Super Bowl, I was young. I was like 10, 11.
Right.
remember screaming around the house. I had my Steve Young jersey, and I was like, "He did it, Steve did it." I didn't take that stupid jersey off for like a week. My mom had to pry it off me and throw it in the wash. I say, "No, Mom, you're gonna wash the championship off the jersey." And you know what? We haven't won a Super Bowl since then. So my mom is to blame for us not winning a Super Bowl. So that's the story I always tell her. I was like, you're the reason why. But no, I would love to collab with you this week, next week, off season. Let's make it happen, Larry. Appreciate you for having me on tonight.
Hey, Raj, you're the best. I will say this, man. It is incredible with guys like, the late Dwight Clark, Steve Young. I mean, these are guys, I was 11 years old when Dwight caught that pass from Montana in the corner of the end zone. And it's like, that was like my childhood hero. And then to get to know him, Raj, and then to sit at Giants games with him, and, to have play golf with DC, to literally have him come up to me and say, "Man, last night on the show when you told this guy, I mean, my mouth would just drop and I'd be like floored that I'm like, dude, DC, you're listening to my show." And he's like, "Yeah, Kruger listens to you all the time." I'm like, dude, I'm like, Steve, I'm like, DC, that's like the greatest. You don't get it. I live in Walnut Creek. I work in San Francisco. I could float across the bridge after you telling me that, man. And then to get to know Steve the last few years, and to consider him a friend, and then just see how good these guys are with people, and how good DC was golden with people. Raj, he used to bring his he had all these rings, right? He had all of his championship rings, and he'd bring them in a case and he'd carry them with him because he knew he'd run into Niner fans and they wanted to see them. And DC was about making them happy.
Oh, wow.
And then Steve is also like really connected to all these different eras of Niner football and is as passionate today about the Niners winning as he was when he freaking played. So, I mean, it's just like the fact that we're following a team that has those kinds of people. It's just awesome, man. And then Eddie D and the Golden Heart Fund and what he's done for the players. I mean, I'm all in. I'm absolutely all in. I love everything about these guys. Raj, we'll let you go, brother. Have a great one. Go Niners. Yeah. And let's collab next week in Arizona.
All right. Send me just tell you got, I think you got my name up, and go Niners. Let's get this dub. Let's get to the Super Bowl. Love you, Larry. Have a good night.
Love you too, brother. Raj. Awesome. Follow that guy on IG, just blowing up.